Yes, time to rise and grind here on a Thursday morning edition of the Early Line Series. XM Channel 159, Donny RightSide, along with Davis Mattek, the hottest topics. You know we got you covered over the next 3 hours. And boy, oh boy, was it popping yesterday. Major League Baseball, an extravaganza throughout the afternoon, which then shifted over to the action on the NBA court. And it was hot. It was fiery. We're ready to go, Davis. It's a glorious Thursday morning. How are we feeling about today?
It's a beautiful Thursday morning here in the Midwestern United States of America. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and look, we're all doing better this morning than one Mr. Jontay Porter is doing, Donny.
No, certainly not. Great way to segue into the 7 and 7. The hottest topics across the professional sports landscape includes the NBA saying, you know what? We're not dealing with this anymore. A ban on Jontay Porter of the Toronto Raptors. Why? Because he was betting on himself, betting against his basketball team. A ban sent down from the NBA. It's a harsh reality. Don't bet on it, as they like to say here, Davis.
Don't bet on it. I mean, look, this is the system functioning as intended. If you're going to legalize gambling, it's actually going to be a lot easier to catch irregularities and cheating and deception this way. Obviously, it's very bad PR for the National Basketball Association. Not great PR for gambling in general, but I promise you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this stuff used to happen before the UIGEA was repealed and there was no way to catch it. And now the league officials and officials at the sports books are able to catch it much easier.
No doubt about it. And also, Davis brings up a good point because we're going to hit on this a little bit later in the show. The reason why legalized sports gambling works is some people look at this and say, oh, man, we got to get rid of gambling. Guys are gambling on themselves. No, now we're able to actually identify it and rid ourselves of those issues, which you saw with Jontay Porter yesterday. So welcome in the radio audience. You're watching and listening live to a Thursday morning edition of the Early Line, right here on the SportsGrid Network, Sirius XM Channel 159, the 7 and 7, the hottest topics in sports continues from Philadelphia last night. 104 final. The Philadelphia 76ers punched their ticket into the playoffs as the 7th seed and will take on the New York Knicks. But my goodness, Eric Spoelstra came out early in that game and goes, watch this matchup zone that the Sixers could not shoot around. And how about this? A double-digit lead in the first half disappears for the Heat. The Sixers take over with 66 points in the second half and advance to the 7th seed.
I mean, look, we said it on the show yesterday. Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA. He was going to have something I said on the show, I was like, I cannot predict what Spoelstra is going to do to give his team a chance to win this game. I certainly did not predict the freaking zone coming out of nowhere, but 76ers are the better team. They have the best player in that game, and that's what ended up winning out. And, now the Miami Heat, they're in a position that they're very comfortable with, which is their backs, completely up against the wall.
Yeah, we'll talk about this in the next segment. Even more injury concerns on Jimmy Butler, but it looked like the Miami Heat, one of those things like, Heat are ready to get to the finals here, and why are we even playing this game in Philadelphia? But a great second half by the Philadelphia 76ers, who I do believe came in 0-12 on the season, down double digits or more here. So a nice victory for the Sixers. Now, there was another game in the NBA last night, doubleheader. And look at this. The Chicago Bulls 131, the Atlanta Hawks 116. Hey, how about we actually got some points out there? And the Chicago Bulls dropped 131. Didn't really need to do much after that first quarter. How about this, Davis? 40 points in the first quarter to take an 18-point lead right off the bat. High-scoring tilt. Bulls win and advance.
They do. I guess we got the answer to the question of who wants to win this game, and it was the Chicago Bulls. It does go over that total, which was one of my favorite bets to make yesterday. It was the one that you guys could get over on the SportsGrid app. Am I very proud of the Chicago Bulls for winning this game? Not really. I found it very hard to care about the fates of these two teams, and now the prize of the Chicago Bulls win is they have to deal with a very angry and upset Eric Spoelstra and Miami Heat in just a few short nights. So, good luck to them on that.
Yeah, we'll certainly play that out and certainly, set the table. NBA, no action tonight on a Thursday. They'll get back to it on Friday with a doubleheader. We'll enjoy watching that. But how about this news coming out? And you sort of could read the tea leaves. When you get a hamstring injury, you leave the basketball game, and you don't come back, that's going to be an issue. And Zion Williamson looks like he's probably done for at least a few weeks, which could mean he's done for the playoffs if the Pelicans don't advance far enough for him to get back into the picture. A 40-point outburst ends early. They end up with a loss, and now in that play-in game where it's win or go home, looks like Zion's not going to be there for some time here, Davis.
It's kind of the story of his career. Big moment, chance to make a run in the playoffs. They need, backs against the wall. They got to win this game. Where's Zion? No one can find Zion. Zion's not available. Zion's not healthy. Zion's not playing. Feels very sad. What I need is a 1980s movie style montage of Zion Williamson running in sweats up a mountain with a beard. Like I need Zion to show up for the next NBA season in the greatest physical shape that any athlete has ever been in. And let's see what happens then. I think it could be transformative for him.
I would love to see him be healthy, and so would the rest of the NBA, at least trying to cheer him on. But I always remember this. Like, Zion sits out so many times. Like, hey, by the way, Zion was at practice, and then have the camera on him, and he's 360 windmill dunking, but led to believe that he's still weeks away from playing on the court. So certainly an anomaly there. It's a shame he got hurt, and certainly maybe the Pelicans were looking to do some damage in the Western Conference. Going to be much tougher here to do that. Major League Baseball yesterday, like clockwork, the Atlanta Braves scored 5 or more runs yesterday in a victory over the Houston Astros to move to 12-5, completely decimate those Astros, who now drop to 16-14 on the season. The Braves score the final 3 runs of this game, win it in 10 innings. It's just what the Braves do.
It's just what the Braves do. Still not panicking about the Astros. We talked about it a good bit on the show yesterday. I mean, look, this is baseball is a long season. The Mets started out 0-6. They're grinding their way back. I promise you the Braves will go on some insane, 13 out of 15 run. All will be well in the world. But the Atlanta Braves are a fearsome baseballing machine.
How about this baseballing machine? Losers of 3 in a row. The New York Yankees hold off the Toronto Blue Jays yesterday to improve to 13-6, and also 5 unanswered runs in a 6-4 victory over the Blue Jays, which finally Aaron Judge with a couple big RBIs late in that game to lift his average, Davis, to 183.
Almost went 0 for 12 for the entire series, ends up grinding it out there. The Yankees, I have the opposite feeling with the Yankees that I do of the Astros. Of the inertia of the Yankees franchise is only going one direction, and it's not a positive direction.
No, certainly not. How about this positive direction? J.K. Dobbins hoping to say, look, I am not going to be injured anymore in my NFL career. Signs a 1-year deal with the Chargers here. Goes over from horrible to hardball here. So some insider information on J.K. Dobbins. And also, what do you think about J.K. Dobbins on the Chargers?
Well, he's going with his old offensive coordinator, Greg Roman. I wish J.K. Dobbins would be healthy for this upcoming season. That would be my wish. I think there's almost no chance. I mean, look, we all know the Chargers are going to be drafting Blake Corum in the 3rd round of the 2024 NFL draft. Like, that's just happening. So you've got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins reunited, and then by week 5 or 6, we're going to have Corum leading that backfield in touches. But I hope we get to see Dobbins play a full season sometime.
Man, the NFL getting closer and closer, which includes the NFL draft next weekend. First round coverage right on the SportsGrid network. Don't miss it on Thursday night.